Okay, it looks like we have everyone on the call now. So welcome to the InterMine Summer Intern presentation session. This is meant to be very informal. You all have 5 minutes or so to present the wonderful work you've been doing over the last few weeks. Oh, hang on, Future's coming back in again. We'll try and stick to the timings reasonably strictly, but not completely strictly. Okay, and we have John, who offered to go first, and then we'll have Sila, Pooja, Kian, Roshni, and then Sakshi. So I am also recording this session, so please be aware you are being recorded. Oh, hang on, people keep leaving and coming back in again. Okay, so John, are you ready? Would you like to share your screen with us?
Can everybody see it?
Yes, that's great.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can see your screen and I can hear you.
Okay. Can everybody see the cursor?
Yep, cursor's good.
Okay. All right, so I'll start then. Hi, my name is John, obviously by now. I will be demoing the InterMine data browser. This is a web app that allows the users to create queries against InterMine without knowing their particular data models. It also demonstrates the received queries in 2 data plots at the top and a table at the bottom. If you look over at the top of the app, you'll see that you can select the type of mine you want. You can authenticate against the mine. You can change the class against which the query will be executed, and you can constrain the results of the query against a particular list. Over on the left-hand panel, you'll see you have 2 tabs, Overview and Templates. These are the 2 ways that you can create queries. For the overview, you can create individual constraints. You can create a query by managing the individual constraints and selecting each individual value. So for instance, let's say you wanted to know what genes for Homo sapiens exist in the human mind. You can select that and apply the constraint. If you wanted to see the chosen constraints, you will click on the View All, and here you also have the option to delete it. After that, you simply click Run Query, and here you see the results of the query have updated the 2 plots at the top, as well as the table on the bottom. Now, we head over to the templates. Templates are queries that the user has access to. They can either be uploaded by the user or the owner of the mine. Let's switch over to FlyMine real quick. And let's look at proteins. So here you see all the available templates that exist under FlyMine and also for the protein class. All these templates have their constraints already pre-applied, as you can see, and their default values selected. For all of them, you'll be allowed to select different values if those selections have already been provided to the user. If you hover over the info icon, you will also see the name of, the description of the particular template. So for instance, this one will show you all the proteins from a particular organism. And if we were to run that and using the default value, here you see we have again updated it. Now to show the difference between the templates view and the overview tab, let's run the query again by selecting the same values. So the melanogaster applying it, and running it. So as you can see, the results returned are exactly the same, except if you look at the bottom over at the table, you see that for the templates, you only have two attributes, primary identifier and primary accession. Whereas for the overview, you also include organism name. This is because in the templates view, the templates determine which attributes they feel are most relevant for that particular template. Whereas for the overview, you will receive all the identifiers that exist in that particular mine for that particular class. Over in the top right, you see the reset view button. This button is bounded to each tab individually. So if we wanted to go ahead and reset the templates view back to the default view, reset it, head over to the overview, and you will see that it still stays there. And you can also filter the templates by categories, because certain templates do have quite a bit more, well, sorry, certain mines have quite a bit of templates provided to the user. And that pretty much wraps it up. Does anybody have any questions?
I have I'm Sergio. I have a small question regarding the, for example, for the genes for the human, there were something like 60,000. Does it mean that you take all the subclasses as well of the gene?
Sorry, on this view or the previous view?
The one that when you were in InterMine, I just noticed.
Okay, let me just make sure so I can follow you. Okay, where exactly?
Yeah, so if you, you see for the Homo sapiens, you get, that's the gene, no? Yes, you get something like 60,000 genes.
Yes.
So that does it mean that you get also all the subclasses of genes, like whatever, pseudo genes and something like that, or?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. When the query executes, I get the entire table summary. So all the genes, all the rows that are returned would be similar to that particular number. I can look up after the presentation, specifically if the subclasses are included in that query, and I'll go ahead and let you know on Discord.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right. Yeah, it must be all the subclasses as well. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations, it's really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is Goss. I had a question too. Yes. So I also agree it looks really nice. Now, one thing, you mentioned the columns. So supposing there was a difference between overviews and templates. So have you given any thought to the ability to change the columns for one or the other? So normally with the template, you can edit a template and add columns. Normally for a FMAP display, again, you can add columns. So have you been thinking about that at all?
Yes, actually, I've been thinking about moving forward a few things to add. One would be allowing more constraints, because if you look now, we only have 3 default constraints available. So giving the user more constraints they can select, allowing the user to decide which columns under the overview tab they would like to display. And then from the overview, saving that template to the mine. And then that way, when they use the template themselves, it'll show the correct columns. I don't know, because I'm waiting on user feedback for users to let me know if they also would like to modify the templates and then save it as a new template, but that's also something that can be added once I add the ability to create templates from within the application.
As a suggestion, there's a web service for saving queries. So if you decide to implement that, you could consider saving the query instead of creating a template.
Okay.
So that's nice. I also had a question about the range distribution. So I like the ranges, but I wonder whether you considered having the ability to divide them by log as well as in a linear fashion. And the reason for that is sometimes you get very skewed distributions where most of the values are low, but there are a few very large values.
Right.
And then that tends to be either produce a bad distribution in a linear one, or because everything gets bunched up. And so having a log axis then allows you to see better what the distribution is.
Yes, I've been thinking about something similar, because the data plots don't really display well for all the queries that I've gone through. Sometimes, like you said, it's too crunched up. So I was trying to see if I could figure out a way to possibly allow the user to set a formula or maybe a different type of plot, and then have them have more control over how the information is displayed to them.
That's an interesting idea. It'd be kind of fun to be able to paste in a little R snippet and have it rendered in R. Yes. Maybe Celia can can comment on that.
I think what you want is for the user to be able to specify how the buckets are created, and that way you can also specify logarithmic buckets.
Yes, that would help, wouldn't it?
Okay, I mean, I'm open to implementing all of these things. I'll talk to Adrian after this, and I'll try to figure out some kind of game plan and see what I can do.
That would be very cool indeed. Well,
great, thanks very much, John. That's a great presentation. So I think we can move on. So next up we have Celia.
Yes, I don't know if you can stop sharing this screen. Okay.
Great.
Okay, so well, in my internship, the first 6 weeks, I've been creating list functions for the InterMine R package to replicate a workshop that was wrote in Python. And well, this is more or less the same workshop. And here you can see that I'm in the Human Mind website, in my mind, and in the list section. So here you can see that there's no list created yet, but
can you we can see your we can see multiple screens, or I can at least. Can you click on the one that you want, the screen that you want us to see?
Yes, I want to see both screens.
Oh, okay.
And
I think it's one screen, but she has the 2 windows open.
Yes.
Yes. You want it? Okay. Sorry, ignore me.
Yes, because here is the functions, the code, and then here is the website and the list section. Well, so I'm going to execute the functions. This is the token that it's related with my account in the Human Mind. And well, the first query was to get all the human genes that are associated with diabetes. These functions are already created in the InterMine package. Okay. And so here, well, I have created some functions related with list managing. Well, there are delete lists, create lists, and other methods. First, to replicate this workflow, well, we first check if it's the list created, as it doesn't. Here, when we call the delete list, it says that there is no list. And then we create the list. So here, if I update this, the list is created. You can click here and see the result. And then we move to another query that, well, get another genes. And the same, we create another list. This one. And then I created some methods that do the same that you can see here, union, intersect, subtract. For example, if we want to know which genes overlap the two queries, we can do intersection between the lists. Then you call the name of the list that you have saved. And you can see that the intersected list is created. And you can see that there are 3 genes that overlap the two queries. And well, there are other methods like, well, union, subtract, difference. This is what I have done during the first 6 weeks. And then my last 2 weeks, I have been creating a Shiny interface that is to interface InterMine R package and the Cityscape visualization tool with the RC3 package in R. So here you can see the first page, and I will write, well, it is not finished yet, the interface, so I have to improve some things, but here will be the instructions for the user. Then you can choose the mine you want to query, and then you can create your own query. So you can, well, you have something similar like the query builder that is in the website. Well, and then you also can choose a template query. For example, this one, the interaction query. And you can add some constraints to this query. For example, constraint gene. And then you can see the result of the query. I think I have to make bigger this table because it's large. So I have to use this bar, but then I only see 2 entries. So I have to investigate how to make it bigger, all the table, but respect the dimension also of the table and the columns. And then, well, you can see the results of this template query. And then here you will select the nodes and the edges. That is the basic elements to create then the network. That is the Cityscape visualization at the end. And well, here, this is not implemented yet, so you can not see all the columns, but here we will see the columns that appear in the results, and you will choose which one you want. And then you will go to create, well, excuse me, because I haven't launched this Cityscape app. Okay, here, well, here you can see a warning that is launch the Cityscape. That is why I remember to launch it. And well, here I haven't implemented yet, but there will be buttons to use the functions that the Cityscape have and group, well, create groups in this network, filter by degree or by column, apply layouts and apply visual styles. And well, finally, I also want to add another page to download the results or to save the network. And that's all. Well, I want to mention also that Shiny doesn't let you to visualize the network in an interactive way. So here the user will have the buttons, but if he or she wants to interact with the network, will need to go to the Cityscape app and well, and see. And that's all.
Thank you, Celia. Has anyone got any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the Shiny app. So it runs in a web browser, and will it be possible to host it on a web server and have it accessible without installing anything locally? Have you looked into that?
I haven't looked at it yet, but I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And if you can let me know, and I'll host it and add an external link to it in BlueJeans so people can find it.
Yes, that would be nice.
I think you may be able to replicate the network if you use the Cityscape JavaScript library, and then you can embed that in an HTML page. And since this is also an HTML page, you can refer to it, and then you will have an interactive network inside your,
But I wonder
Shiny.
how different they are, because this runs in R, right? This Cytoscape. So maybe they have a different API.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think the one she's using is the actual desktop application. They connect to the desktop application instead of using the library of JavaScript or something. So then I think what you're doing is just getting a screenshot, right, of the network.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
right. Yeah. So with JavaScript, you could have interaction in the window.
But I don't follow when you say that I can save it in another way to interact in the Shiny interface.
Yeah. So you have two ways of basically creating the network. One is just calling the API for the desktop application. So what you're doing. And the second way is to go through a longer path, which is to, using the nodes and the edges, create the network by using an API to the Cityscape JavaScript library. And then you could write an HTML file. So everything dynamically, right? Not by yourself. And just insert this HTML in this view you have here. So instead of inserting an image, you insert the actual HTML generated by the Cityscape JavaScript library. And then you should be able to interact with it. But this is just from the top of my mind. So this may be not possible straight, like I'm saying, but I think it could be a way.
Okay.
That would certainly be cool. I have a quick question as well, which is that it's very useful to be able to visualize graphs in Cytoscape. And you're showing us the outputs of particular queries, but there's a different type of graph that it would be nice to see, which is the shape of the data model and the bits of the data model, for instance, that are covered by a particular query or a template. So this is probably beyond the scope of what you're able to do, but it would be, if you can see an easy way to do that, that would be very interesting. So in other words, rather than running a query, you talk to the database and you say, tell me what classes you have and how are they connected and what attributes they have, and then you draw a graph of that.
Okay, so display the attributes of a class in a integer scale.
It would be nice to see the relationships between the classes too.
Okay,
So in other words, in the most extreme form, it would be the entire data model, or it could be those classes and attributes used by a particular template or a particular query. So you can see it's a way of visualizing or a different way of visualizing the query. And then a kind of a nice way of doing that would be to have the whole data model perhaps in gray and then the bit that's being used in a darker color. So you can see how your particular query relates to the whole data model.
Okay.
It's probably a distraction, but it would be, I think, a fun and useful thing to have.
Just to add to what Adrian said, there's actually a library called rsci.js, which is similar to rsci3, except it uses Cytoscape.js instead of the Java app. So that might be the easiest path to achieving what Adrian suggested.
Can you repeat the name, please?
rsci.js, so RCY.js. So it's the same name, just instead of tree, it's JS.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Great, thanks, Celia.
Yes, I really enjoyed seeing the lists just appear in the user interface.
Great, thank you. Some great suggestions there as well. So next up we have Pooja.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Pooja Gaur. I'm doing Masters in Data Science from IIIT Hyderabad, India. And this summer I had the opportunity of being a part of the InterMine team as Outreachy intern for the project InterMine Boot, a CLI tool for managing InterMine instances. And I did my internship under the mentorship of Kevin Herald and Ankur Kumar. I will keep this brief presentation divided in 3 parts: introduction, motivation, and work done. As most of you know, InterMine is a biological data warehouse system aimed at easing the process of sharing and querying the biological research datasets. And we term InterMine instance as server and web app. An end user can set up an InterMine instance to build a private InterMine site for their dataset and manage or host it as they want. Now, setting up an InterMine instance might be useful in many scenarios, but it is not a simple process, often requiring quite good Linux administration skills. And InterMine Cloud Project aims at lowering the barrier for running an InterMine instance so that users with little technical knowledge can do this easily. And InterMine Boot is part of the InterMine Cloud Project. InterMine Boot allows users to easily set up and manage local instances of InterMine inside the Docker containers. I worked on the project to extend the InterMine Boot to improve user experience and add more convenience features to the tool. So this screenshot shows a typical run of an InterMine boot command. Let's briefly walk through the process of how an InterMine boot command is executed now. InterMine boot is available as Python package on PyPy, so it is very easy to install, and Docker is a dependency for InterMine boot to run. When a user enters a command to build the images and launch containers for InterMine instance, first the code checks whether the dependencies are met. Then the Docker images are built in order to Tomcat, Solar, Postgres, and then InterMine Builder. Once the images are built, the containers are started in same order. On the right, you can see the 4 containers is starting. Postgres container is responsible for setting up the Postgres database. Tomcat container sets up the server for our web app, and Solar container sets up Solar for searching and indexing building. InterMine builder container is dependent on these 3, so all the 4 containers are attached to the same Docker network. InterMine builder container finally sets up the InterMine instance on Docker. And once all the containers are built, users can visit the browser to see the running local instance of InterMine boot. Once the command is successfully run, user is promoted to visit the browser to see web app. Here you can see the screenshot of how BioTestman web app looks after being set up. Instead of working on a single big project, I have worked on multiple tasks during the internship. We have migrated Docker Compose to DockerPy. DockerPy is a Python library to handle all the tasks that can be done by using Docker with command line. And earlier, we cloned the Docker InterMine Gradle repository to get YML files and running a terminal command from Python to run it. And using DockerPy gives us more control over how we want to do the build process, and also decouples us more from Docker InterMine Gradle repo. And other tasks are listed here. If the InterMine instance with same configuration exists, then instead of recreating instance, use the existing one. And we would like to upload the archives of the BuildMine to cloud platforms so that they can be used when a user invokes to build InterMine with similar configuration. And to this end, I set up a pipeline to upload and download the archives to AWS cloud. This can be extended to other cloud platforms. I integrated GitHub action for continuous integration to run 3 types of InterMine boot commands on each push. Yeah. Instead of cloning a Docker InterMine Gradle repository, which can be problematic in case of new changes in the repository, so we decided to add Docker InterMine Gradle as a submodule of InterMine boot, and also added the functionality to build InterMine instance from a path. I would like to thank InterMine org for giving me the opportunity to work in such an encouraging community. And also I would like to thank my mentors, Kevin Herald and Ankur Kumar, for guiding me during the internship. Thank you.
This is going to be really useful, really terrific.
Yeah, I feel it's been plenty useful already in that we're using it every time for running CI tests on BlueJeans and some other apps.
Very nice. Maybe one day I'll have to build an InterMine myself.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, Gus.
Well, actually, seriously, I had to put together something for sorting exam scripts for this past examination season, and halfway through I realized that rather than a bunch of bodgy scripts, I really should have had a database. So maybe this is the excuse.
Okay, great. Any more questions? Otherwise, we shall move on. And next up, we have, now apologize if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Is it Kian?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go share my screen. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, everyone. My name is Chen. Now I will give you a presentation about the work I have done in the past 12 weeks. As you all know, many users take advantage of the InterMine platform. but not every user or biologist has a computer science background and the ability to quickly get familiar with the usage of InterMine. So InterMine training portal is necessary for them. But the previous tutorials, the previous tutorial page is embedded in the whole InterMine homepage, which does not include much information and not many tutorials. So my project focuses on designing an independent website, training portal website, and making it of rich content and conveying information effectively. Making this website feels like building a house. I need to design first. So first I need to figure out what to include in it. The basic information in the previous page is necessary. Also, InterMine has workshops for users every year, so the workshop information is needed too. And users tend to choose Python to interact with the InterMine registry. So detailed tutorials about Python are necessary too. Also, I think there is some additional information it is good to add in the training portal. Then I choose a Hugo theme and made the necessary changes and improvements. I added a search function here for users to search for information they want effectively. And I added sidebars, which are good for users to track where they're reading. The left sidebar and the right sidebars, both sidebars can help users to track where they are reading in the full training portal website. And there are some design details, such as the main color is consistent with the InterMine icons color. The core part of the project is the implementation of my design. I wrote Python text tutorials and made videos based on them. Thanks to the previous Python tutorials in the InterMine repository, I don't need to make many changes to them. Then based on those text tutorials, I made totally 16 videos for Python tutorials. The length of them is between 1 minute and 6 minutes. They are all embedded in the training portal website. Okay, we can see an example. Yeah, this is the video tutorial I have embedded in training portal website. Also, I uploaded to the YouTube InterMine channel. As you can see, the descriptions are seriously written, so you can understand them easily on YouTube. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, we can see on this page, users can look through the text tutorial. So video tutorial, if they want to try live, they can click here. Then it will jump to the binder. Here they can run the text tutorial online on this website. Then I updated information in InterMine user documentation and InterMine developer documentation. I mostly changed the outdated links and tested whether all the links work well. Then I added them to the training portal website. I gave them a separate page for users to jump efficiently. Then I wrote a contribution guide in the website for developers who want to contribute to the training portal. I learned much from it, and in the process of the project, I learned how to make videos with Camtasia, how to write Markdown scripts on HackMD. Most importantly, I become familiar with Hugo website design, and how to communicate with my mentors effectively. I feel so grateful meeting you all in InterMine, especially my mentors, you, Asher and Sergio. Also, this is my first internship. I gained much experience from it and confidence in contributing to the open source software in the future. I have a very happy journey here this summer. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Now it's Q&A time.
Wow, that's really great.
Thank you.
So are we going to, is this now in production in the sense that we're going to use this as our for all our training?
Oh yeah, now the main content in the portal is the Python content. Yep. And I think the future development maybe includes some other languages, but not very, as the other languages now are not so popular as Python.
So I like the fact that you use Jupyter and Binder. There wasn't an issue at one point that mybinder.org didn't have very good support. So I don't know, can one run Binder locally, or is that still an issue?
You made the website. Can the website run locally?
Exactly, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, it exactly can run it locally as it's based on the Hugo locally developing. Then I pushed it to the website, use the GitHub pages.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So it is good to maintain. It's easy to maintain.
Right. No, actually, my question was slightly different. It was about the mybinder.org website, which I believed was at least at one point, maybe about a year ago, didn't have very good financial support, and therefore there was a risk that mybinder.org would not remain available. But maybe that's no longer a problem.
Oh, you made the financial support.
I'm sure there's a solution if there's a problem. So don't worry. I was just curious.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. My work is acknowledged.
Just to add something to what Gus asked, we'll add it to intermine.org soon for hosting and link out to it. So it will be available on production soon.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Very good. Okay, thank you, Ken.
Thank you. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen.
So next up we have Roshni.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I should start now. Hey everyone, I'm Roshni, BTech undergraduate from India. So working under mentors Kevin and you, and without wasting a second, I should start. My project is about redesigning an existing InterMine system, that is BlueJeans, for better usability and overall experience by performing heuristic analysis, collecting insights by conducting remote user testings, and defining challenges simultaneously by having feedback from community members. Now, design is something which is present in our everyday life. It is just so obvious that it goes out of notice because because its whole purpose is to make the user journey absolutely effortless. Now, it is not just about colors and aesthetics, just to be clear, but about creating a positive experience for users at every touch point and interaction. As soon as we identify a problem, we start thinking for an optimum solution, which is only a result of proper user research, study, and multiple rounds of iterations, which also is a result of multiple failures. All of these combined are termed as a design process. Now, for my project, I came up with my design process, that is, which runs in a loop of observation and analysis, redesigning and prototyping the screen, and scheduling a user test to have proper feedback. Now, coming to the first part, I started with researching the background of the system and came up with some of the few key points. One of the distinct things that I noticed was to use light tones so that users can look at the screen for a much longer period of time. The astonishing thing that I found was that simple is not always better, especially dumbing down tools for complexity experts. It might prove to be kind of risky. So I started with these pages, that is results and result pages, home screen, and report pages, which were marked as priority by my mentors. And this was the first design I presented. You can visit the link once I share the PPT. It is the home page of Blue Jeans with redefined content layout, and which was fortunately implemented before user testing phase 1. Coming to this user testing phase, most important part of any design process. And I got many mind-blowing insights from getting users to test Blue Jeans system. These are some of major feedback from the user, what they had to say, like loading of visualization, loading time was quite big, and there are certain elements have kind of non-obvious behaviors, and certain things were not usable. So with these ample amount of feedback, I started listing out UX improvements for these pages. Depending on the audience, my challenge was to find the sweet spot between not too simple and not too complicated. These are some of the major pain points which user faced, like misleading elements at some pages which were like not obvious, not intuitive. Several things were there. So after weekly brainstorming and simultaneously collecting feedback from mentors, I came up with redesigns for several pages. Again, thread is attached here in the PPT. You can visit them. I came up with these designs for several pages. Feel free to visit and don't forget to leave your feedback. Now that my mentor was able to implement some of these redesigns, it was time to have a user test again to get some feedback. And this time we saw that user was contained. That was kind of achievement for us. They had kind of positive feedback, much positive than previous ones. Now, apart from the user experience design, a new phase to our new interface, that is Blue Jeans, and tried building a logo. And after going through multiple designs, I landed upon this one, presenting before you new face of Blue Jeans. Tada. So this is what I landed upon. Okay, so wrapping it up, my whole intern period can be divided into 4 sections: researching, redesigning screens, and scheduling user tests for users, and concluding all the designs and whatever remaining was left. And yes, coming to the end, it's kind of sad that this period is getting over, but it is kind of exciting to see what lies ahead. I thank the InterMine community and everyone who helped me throughout the internship. All the best to my fellow interns. You rock. Yeah, I am done.
Well done.
Okay.
So that's a very useful thing for us, because we tend not to spend enough time talking to users and really listening to what they need. And I could see definitely from some of the things you found, there are really good improvements we can make as a result. So that's a really useful thing you've done. And I personally like the Blue Jeans logo, so I'm sure there'll have to be a vote on it.
Thanks for that. Yeah. So people don't get the importance of design when building something like website. But it really affects how person uh, uses to what extent, and it really helps in like improving the user experience throughout the journey.
To add a comment about the user testing, so being
Yeah.
present at the user testing, Roshni has inspired me to also do it myself in the future. So there will be more of that, Gus.
Ah, well done. So you've changed the world, Roshni. Well done.
Yeah, I have to second what Kevin said. It's really been very useful to sit on in on.
That is so great to listen. Thanks. Mentors were really helpful throughout the journey.
But it's also, I guess, very, very good timing, seeing as there's Blue Jeans is almost done, and that now I guess there's will be time to turn attention to other things as well.
Yeah. Great. Thanks very much, Roshni.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we move on to our last presentation, and that is Sakshi.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So hello everyone, I am Sakshi Srivastava, currently pursuing BTech in Computer Science from IP University, India. My project is being titled as JavaScript Data Visualization, and I am being mentored by Herald, Akshat and Asher. You and Rachel also helped me in providing valuable information and feedback. Uh, So, InterMine viewer interface, Blue Jeans is in the phase of replacing the GSP based UI. Blue Jeans is designed to make searching and analyzing the genomic data easy, as we can query and view the different InterMine in a single interface. There are around 8 to 10 visualization that Blue Jeans hold for now. So my project is basically to accelerate these visualization that would be visible in gene, protein, report and list pages, and this will help biologists to understand the interaction better. So coding and testing is also done, and ESLint is used to ensure the code quality. So let's move forward to each visualization one by one. The first is pathway visualizer. Here the relationship is inferred by linking the pathway that have genes in common. I have added filter based on the distinct pathway name and allowing user to view only the selected pathway from the list, and can also toggle to see the shared pathway nodes. Second up, we have Go concept relation. It shows the association between the gene to their corresponding Go term. We can hover a node to see additional information, filter based on the ontology term, and we can view the shared nodes. The main purpose of having this visualization was to make it compatible for both single and multiple entities. Third is we are having interaction network. So here we are displaying gene interaction. So I migrated the whole existing code base to React.js with a side panel where we can view the additional information about a particular node by clicking it, and can also filter out the gene based on the interaction type. The red edge shows the physical interaction, whereas blue edge shows the genetic interaction. So all the visualization that I showed you till now were developed using Cytoscape.js and went through a number of iterations to have a better and understandable interface. Next up, we are having expression graphs. So here we are showing heat map where each row represent a gene and each column represent a tissue. The color and the intensity of the boxes are used to represent the expression level of the tissue. We can also switch between the data sets. We can filter data according to the selected tissue from the list over here, and we can also filter based on the expression levels and scale value, linear or logarithmic. So next up we have protein tissue visualization. this is also a type of a expression graph. Here we are having multiple heat maps connected together, showing tissue as a category and tissue cell as subcategory, whereas genes at the y-axis. So we've used Nevo.js over here to create heat maps. So next visualization are blue jeans wrappers. So JBrowse and ESYN is a utility to exchange data between researchers. We can construct network or models and can easily embed to any of the HTML pages. So here I created thin blue jeans wrappers that follows the blue jeans tool API and embedded an iframe element to view the visualization. The eighth visualization is GWAS network. So it has minus log 10 p-value in the y-axis against chromosome in the x-axis to show the significant SNPs. So we are using Nevo.js again over here to create the scatter plot, and we can also see the additional information on the node hover, and also different colors are used to differentiate the phenotypes over here. Next is list enrichment visualization, where we are loading different types of enrichment and we can see the data in the form of bar charts. We can also filter data based on the factors given in the side panel, and we can also switch between the enrichments. And our last visualization is list similarity visualization, which is represented in a form of table. The rows shows the list name and its Jacquard value index, and we can also filter data based on the minimum Jacquard index we want and the class type. So apart from all these visualization, I created an additional project where we can showcase all our visualization tools in one place without actually anybody needing to run the tools locally. And I use Storybook.js over here, which enables us to create structured UI development. And currently I have added all the old visualization that were created by Akshat, as you can see over here. In future we will add more of them, and this additional repo has Storybook configured, and we can import all the other visualization tools in the form of dependency as npm package and show demo in it, having all of them in one place. And last, I would like to thank my mentors for constant support and feedback. This was overall a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Wow, you've been busy. That's a lot of visualizations. So I think that's going to be very useful too. And Kevin, are these going to end up in production?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Yes.
Nice. Sorry, yeah, I should have asked Sakshi that, but anyway.
Yes, very nice. So the Jacquard table you showed, so that would show on a list page, would it? So any list that you view, you'll be able to see any similar lists. Yeah, that's really nice. I'm really excited by that.
I could imagine that the Jacquard one you could do as an all versus all comparison as a heat map. That might be another way of doing it.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty novel. So it will be great if you could write that down, like in detail. Or we can discuss it at a later time.
Sorry, what about the Jacquard heat map?
Yeah, because we thought we could only show the Jacquard via our table. So this is an interesting new idea.
I will write it down.
Great. Lovely. Thanks for a great presentation, Sakshi. So any more questions for Sakshi? Okay, so that's everyone done. So I think we would all just like to thank all the interns for the amazing work that they have done over the last few weeks. You've all made some really amazing contributions to InterMine, and we hope you've enjoyed the experience as well. It sounds like you've all had a nice time.
Well, I just like to second what Rachel said, and it is amazing to see how much you can do so quickly. And I'm also, as far as I can tell, you enjoyed your mentors were helpful as well. So a big thanks also to the mentors and Yo, of course, who's sadly had to go and work at the Wellcome Trust. So really, to all of you, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lovely. So if anyone's got any more comments, otherwise I think we're finished. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Should have been waving goodbye. Okay. Bye-bye then.